aspect. How about the governance, institutional governance aspect? And also the policy implementation part, because hereby this country has got good project implementation is the problem. How about that problem?
Do I start? Yes, Isaac. And it's good that you have even mentioned the policies by the government. But where do we follow up? Do we follow up with the government? If we have an opportunity to follow up there, do we follow up with our members of parliament? When public participation is called, do we go? Do we usually go? Or do we truly, participate in it? If we follow up, Hansard, do you check on Hansard what is going on in parliament? In county assembly, the issues that are being addressed and raise them. There are so many channels to do that. And political parties are here, we can ask them.
Now, from just what you have said, there is something that's also lacking, and that is basically for the common mwananchi, they are only interested, does it protect lives and livelihoods? And then the other, which is normally not addressed. And the second one is the tradition. What is the tradition of the practice? Because if you don't take into the tradition and practice, again, you will not achieve the goal. And maybe I can tell a funny story. When we got COVID, how come without a lot of resources we have been able to overcome the COVID, and the Europeans and the other people that have a lot of resources, they're still struggling? Now, if you look at the way the government handled it, and the governments around, it was more of witchcraft and voodoo. Some people from neighboring countries, they had this concoction, which of course is what we have been practicing. And then eventually, the government took over, and you saw that they were burying people at night in white clothing with some lanterns. And if you look at it closely, some of those burial sites, they basically were the same sites where our night runners normally So the night runners, of course, were displaced, and they came to the village and they were telling the people that government is practicing witchcraft. And of course, the people were keen to see, because between a witch doctor and a night runner, the people trust the night runner over the witch doctor. So the people went to see, and so they would stand at a distance and watch these government guys in white robes with the lanterns in the dark. And then they agreed that that must be witchcraft. So what happened is that immediately those people left, they would go and exhume those bodies and give them the right ritual, which is what we know. Eventually what happened was that people realized that those bodies actually don't transmit the disease, because the people who are doing that were not dying, but the people who are well are the ones who are dying. Eventually what happened was, because of that, the disease was demystified. Then came Omicron, which infected all of us, and we got what is being preached about herd immunity. So what has saved us is our tradition. You can call it voodoo, witchcraft, but the solution eventually came from those practices. So if you are going to solve all these problems, the technology is good, the politics is good, but it must be embedded in our tradition, because that is where the solution eventually lies. Just like we saw with the leather issue, we approach it from the practice and the tradition. And for her, if we are going to find a solution to the plastic, you need to get the tradition of the plastic makers. Without them, no solution from outside will basically solve it.
I like the fact that you asked about governance. And one of the things that has made us have the plastic pollution that we have today is that lack of governance. And to highlight to you, the environment also has environmental governance. And these are based on 9 pillars. 1, on transparency, accountability, inclusivity, effectiveness. And if I just take those 4, when we look at how we are dealing with our environment, can we be accountable for the dirt we create? Yeah, we are running an advocacy that we have said hashtag my waste, my responsibility, because I don't know who will be responsible for what you're doing if it's not you. So when we bring in the issue of environment, we can have all the developments we want, but we may as well kill ourselves because there will be no future. If we are not able to govern ourselves to know that we need to be environmentally friendly. So governance is key. It's not negotiable as well, and it has to come. Where do you come in? Yes, it's in the enforcement of it. How many of you today have seen the plastic bags? The ones that were banned are back in our estate. Let me see by a show of hands. How many of us? Chips Muitu and all this. Do we buy chips Muitu? Yes. Huh? Yeah, I know, Justine told us, we understand. We use Matachi, so it's okay. We are okay for. So we have chips Muitu. Yeah? And those chips Muitu are being put in those plastic bags. So when did we say no? When will we say no to these plastic bags? But when we hear NEMA is nearby, what do? We switch. So who at the end of the day is suffering? Yeah? Today roads were impossible because of what? Flooding. But if you check, our drainages are full of plastic bottles. So did they get there by themselves? We are the ones to do that. So we must, it starts with me. If environment has to do it, then it starts with me. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have time for one last question.
Good evening. I'm Rachel, United Green Movement. My question goes to Marie. I don't know if you know that issue-based politics have been taken over by 50 shillings, 100 shillings, and there's no way. I don't know where you come from, but where I come from, there's no way you can give issue-based politics without the 50 shillings, the 100. How do we overturn that? The second question is, the government in place took away civic education that was supposed to be continuously educating the citizens. It replaced civic education with the public participation. I don't know if you've ever participated in public participation. It's a rush, especially during the budget period cycle. It's a rushed exercise. And the only people participate, I can tell you, in a budget.
I can give you a solution. But I won't. But I'll talk about it. And I'll talk about it because what we have not really appreciated as, how many of us are members of political parties? Truly members of political parties who participate in political party processes. Because decisions are made by political parties about this in this country. Because the government is made by political parties. Let's go to the 50 bob issue. The 50 bob issue is an issue of unemployment. Because I don't think most of the people who have somewhere that they're earning would sell anything for 50 bob. You know, sell your vote for 50 bob, sell, you know. And I do understand that even during public participation has a component of money in it, you know, and it is rushed up just to, you know, to align the process with the law, so that the county government will not be taken to court after that. But it still goes back to us, as members of political parties, as members of the public. We are the people who are in this process. However much we engage in civic education, you know, it has to come from us. It has to come from us, from political parties themselves that are driving the processes. From you as a member, participating in a process, you know, and influencing each and every process that is being taken by political parties. not just sit there. Please also take leadership. You know, find a way to get elected if you are not influencing any policy. Find a way of getting into a political party. Join the youth league, join the women league, you know, join the party structures. You know, try and influence as much as possible things that you can be able to do. Whom of us who understand the process, talk to your children in your houses. Don't tell them about, you know, a certain ethnic group that is, you know, or a certain member of a political party that is not in line with whatever is happening. Responsibility will start with us. Talk to our children about what we need to change. Take responsibility as a member of a political party, you know, and the change will always come from us. But we cannot keep on complaining about the things that are happening to us and not doing anything about it. If we have power to elect, then let us elect leaders whom we believe that can change, that can give change. And also, please, let us follow up in a process that we truly want to engage in. You know, let us not go to public participation and just say things that, you know, just because we want some travel reimbursement at the end of it, or because we were called to support a certain motion or a certain thing that the government wants to pass. Let us keep ourselves. Let us vote where our mouth is. The issues that are concerning us.
All right, give it up for the panel. Speakers, Professor Mula and Dr. Katambi. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Makofi tafadhali. That was some really insightful things. Right? Tumejifunza mengi so far, right? And it gives us some insight into what we need to do. Thank you very much. Really blew my mind. And one of the things that's blown my mind, I'm back again to make you laugh, guys, as we rearrange the seats. Yeah, I'm not going to change your life personally. And then as we carry on, and then as they switch the seats here. But one of the things that Dr. Katambi talked about, which I'll connect to a personal story, she talked about living in a concrete jungle, right? And that is very true. This is a thing that happened to me a few weeks ago. My vehicle was broken into, and somebody stole a very expensive laptop. Okay? Has that ever happened to anybody? Maybe yes, it's happened to. I see people laughing. It's happened to them.